Alright, Shalom Akim. Before I get started with the lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Harikakwadash. Of course, as always, double honors to our apostles and elders that rule well at Great Millstone. And also, Shalom to all you sincere Akim, preaching this word in all truth and in sincerity. So this is Ezekiel 35 and verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Now this Mount Seir is talking about the government of Esau, which is a so-called white man. Real quick, I'm going to get a scripture to back it up. I believe, let's see, gone. This is Ezekiel, Aslakia, Genesis 36 and 8. Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. So Mount Seir, alright, is synonymous with Esau, because Mount Seir is where the Edomites' original homeland or original empire was. Okay. Now spiritually, America is new Mount Seir. Alright. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And it goes into the generations, okay, the lineages, the lines of the Edomites. So Esau is Edom. Alright, you so-called white people. The name Edom means red in Hebrew. Okay, Adawam. And Mount Seir, I believe the word Seir means hair. Because when you look at the ranges of Mount Seir, those mountains, that region, it looks like waves of hair. Okay, so verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. So it's not talking about us facing the east and prophesying against a damn mountain. Okay, a physical place. No, it's telling us to prophesy against those people, which are the Edomites, and say unto it, because the word mount goes back to mountain, and the word mountain is synonymous with the word government. Okay, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Ultimately, Esau and his kingdom, okay, wherever Edomites rule, here in America and Europe primarily, Canada, okay, Australia, and in the land of Israel, the Lord's going to make Esau desolate, man. Okay, he's going to destroy his countries, man. He's going to bring it to naught. All Edomite power, their whole structure, is going to be overturned and destroyed. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, by the force of the sword. And that sword is dealing with his military might. Okay, he came out as, physically, spiritually, mentally. And the main way he did it was through military action. Okay, through force. Okay, it says, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, and our iniquity had an end. Okay, we're not supposed to be in the condition we're in now. Although it's prophecy, but Esau did not continue or did not discontinue, you know, his rampage against us as a nation, man. Okay, it says, in the time that our iniquity had an end, when we were brought here, our people were brought here into captivity. We were supposed to be told who we are and why we're going through this punishment. Okay, but we discontinued from our heritage, and Esau knew. Instead of him being the so-called big brother that he's supposed to be, as the scriptures say, the elder shall serve the younger. You know, he didn't tell us who we were. You know, he didn't glorify Yahweh Bashem Yahushai when Yahweh Bashem Yahushai gave him the power to overcome us. Instead, he continued on. As the scriptures say, the heathen furthered the affliction. Okay, and here's a video that a brother posted. I'm going to play it after I read a couple scriptures. But it says concentration camp in 1968. Jews secretly sprayed with radioactive particles in St. Louis by military. Whose military is this referring to, man? Esau's military. Okay, the military of the so-called United States of America, which is ran by Edomites, so-called white people. You might have some people of ours in office that are in their ranks, but who overall foresees its operations is the elite of Esau. Okay, who oversees everything are Edomites. It ain't no Israelites up there making no rules and, executing executive orders and things of that nature. It's all Edomites, man. So let's go back into these scriptures. It says, verse 6, therefore as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And Edomites, they love to spill blood. Okay, they're a bloodletting nation of people. Like the brothers in the Bay like to say, Esau, Edom, he's the violent homosexual, man. Okay, because that's what they live for. Okay, they live for pedophilia. They live to be boy lovers and to spill blood. All right. They love to kill. They love violence. Okay, who is the first murderer in the scriptures? Cain. And Cain is an Edomite. All right, Cain was reanimated as Esau, which is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. Verse 7, thus will I make Mount Esau most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, in thy hills and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. And at the end of all things, Esau's going to be taken out of power, and all his civilizations, all his countries, his strongholds, if you will, are going to be destroyed. And it's going to be a perpetual desolation. They're never going to return back into power. When Esau goes into slavery this go around, he is never going to come back into power. Okay, verse 10, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas Yahweh Bashem Yahushai was there. All right. Esau believes that the Lord is with him, taking us down. Okay, Esau believes that it's okay. Okay, he wants these two countries, these two nations, as his possessions, his slaves forever, his subjects. Which those two nations, those two countries, is the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of the nation of Israel, which were separated into two different nations, two different kingdoms during the time of Jeroboam and Rehoboam. Okay, when Solomon passed, because of all Solomon's wickedness, the kingdom was torn, and it became two separate kingdoms. Which the southern kingdom are you so-called Negroes, West Indians and Haitians, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and the northern kingdom is the so-called Latinos and Native American tribes. Okay, from Ephraim, Seminole Indians, so-called Puerto Ricans, which are Ephraim, Seminole Indians, which are Reuben, Gad, the Native Americans, Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, so on and so forth. Okay. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. And ultimately the Lord is going to judge Esau by using his people. Okay. The Lord is going to be known amongst the children of Israel when the Lord uses the children of Israel to judge Esau, which is going to take place at the fall of his kingdom, which is the beginning of ours. Okay, as the scripture says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So here's that video I wanted to show y'all. And this is why this is going to happen to Esau, that perpetual hatred.
When the temperatures dropped below freezing earlier this week, water lines in several of the Pt.1 apartment buildings broke and the subsequent flow of water turned into ice. Today, as temperatures warmed, the ice thawed and residents continued to battle the resultant mess. At 2311 Dixon, a sewer line is broken, and now raw sewage bubbles out of the ground like a malevolent spring. In the building itself, residents and maintenance crews are working to clean up the mess. Elmer Hammond, chairman of the Human Development Corporation Neighborhood Advisory Council, has tried for 3 days to get city and housing authority officials to help remedy the plight.
Well, I have talked with Mr. Meeker. I've talked with Boyd Wilson of Housing, asked him about this here situation for the last 2 days. And Mr. Meeker called me and said he'd talk with...
He's in the mayor's office.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And he said he'd called Mr. Klein, and Mr. Klein was supposed to send someone in, and no one ever showed. And the only alleviation of this problem that I have received thus far has been from HDC, from Mr. Cahill.
What sort of assistance did you get from the Human Development Corporation, Mr. Cahill?
Well, through the petty cash that I discussed with Mr. Cahill, he sent out and bought me 3 electric heaters and was sent down to 2107 Cass for us to distribute to these families that had no heat in their buildings on O'Fallon.
In addition to the water, how many families are without heat at this point?
Well, I would say right now approximately 40 or 50 people right now. And it's possibly that it will go higher than that before the day is gone.
What's the likelihood that you're going to be able to remedy this?
Well, the only thing I can do now is try to get hold to the housing authority people and some of the city officials and see if we can get these people out of this building immediately. They cannot stay in there over the night with these children.
With the temperatures dropping as nightfall, the residents here in Pt.1 will probably be frozen in again. Then tomorrow, should the temperatures warm up, the water will come back. And so it'll go until somebody comes in to remedy the situation. Fred Porterfield, Big 4 News, from the Pt.1 apartments. The disaster that fell on Pt.1 and most of the other public housing units in St. Louis during the past several days is gradually being overcome with the aid of a massive outpouring of material, money, and manpower. Housing officials and residents began the job of correcting the major problems. 30 additional carpenters were added to the maintenance crews to board up an estimated 10,000 broken windows, which contributed to the general breakdown of services when temperatures dropped below zero last week. 5 additional plumbers joined the crews working to repair water pipes. Clothing and other household items needed to replace those that were underwater and ice in the apartments continued to flow into the community center. The center, being used as a headquarters for the massive cleanup, doubled as a meeting place this morning for the Pt.1 Coordinating Council.
Now, there are a lot of other groups that want to come in and do something, but we need you to tell us what is most important and what takes priority. I would like to recommend the following. That you need, first of all, to have this area declared as a disaster area and an emergency area. That the second thing, that you work on evacuation, not trying to clean up what's here, but evacuation of the citizens who are here and who cannot make it in the condition that these homes are in today. And the third thing is to work for a permanent solution to this problem, which keeps coming up time and time and time again.
The residents were particularly high in their praise of the members of the Black Nationalist Party and the Black United Front for their help through the past several days. Some said the disaster was beneficial because it united the tenants and many dissident black groups in a common cause. After the meeting, volunteers, including white fraternity members from the University of Missouri at Rolla and led by neighborhood residents, began a door-to-door canvass to determine what else is needed. William Bud Shawalker, Director of Housing, and others who have been coordinating the effort, believe the situation is gradually returning to order.
Well, as of this morning, of course, we do have heat, we do have power, we have some of the amenities of decent living, we have additional maintenance force on hand, we have plumbers, we have carpenters, and we are in process today of correcting some of the things which have created the abominable conditions we've had in public housing in the past few days.
The question comes to mind, though, is are you going to be able to prevent this sort of thing in the future?
With the necessary funds to provide the necessary maintenance force and supplies, this will not happen in the future.
Pruitt-Igoe